Welcome to the Million Vegan Grandmothers podcast. And today I have Betska K-Burr here today. She's an amazing coach and author and spiritual teacher. And she's going to share so much of what is needed in these times, times of as we're reconciling back to a world of peace and harmony and compassion. So welcome, Betska.
Thank you, Tammy. A delight to be here with you. I'm very honored, and I appreciate so much the work that you are doing and all the vegan grandmothers and what you're all doing. So thank you for inviting me.
Oh, well, Betska has recently joined the Million Vegan Grandmothers,
Yes, I
and
have.
we're all over the world. And I would just like to ask you some questions. This year has been, when I was meditating on what this year was to provide, it was about deep alignment. And I realized there were a few things in my life that still felt a little bit out of alignment. So I would just like to ask you, how can individuals and communities discover their life purpose and stay aligned with it as a coach?
Oh, wow. That's such a thank you for asking that question, because many people will go through their life and not even know what their life purpose is unless they go inside and meditate deeply. But I'm co-president of Coaching and Leadership International, and I developed the Science of Mind Kinetics coaching system. And one of the 80 coaching methodologies in that system is finding your life purpose.
Your Dharma.
Yes, and this is what we do. It's simple. Try and hire a Mind Kinetics coach to help you, because it'll go quite deep. And there might even be some tears, but basically we take them into their childhood via the subconscious mind. So they're not even really aware of what's there. But we ask them what were the 3 top values that were missing for them as a child. Was it acceptance? Was it wonderment? Was it honesty? Was it self-love? What was it? So we have 76 values of humanity on a deck of cards. It's also on an app. And we help them find those 3 values that were missing. And then how were those values missing? Because what happens, Tammy, is if those values were missing since childhood, that person spends the rest of their life trying to get those values. So for me, my family never hugged me and never kissed me. Ukrainian culture, right? In this particular culture, home, that just wasn't done. I remember the first time I got a hug from my dad. I was 16, and I was driving by then, and I took him out for dinner for Father's Day. And at the end, I very trepidatiously went and put my arms around him and gave him a hug. And I said, "Dad, I love you." And he goes, "Oh," he wasn't sure what to do with that. And he said, "Well, I guess I love you too." And he hugged me back, right? First time in 16 years. So I'm giving this as an example. Self-love was one of the things that was missing for me as a child, recognition as well. And so I spent the majority of my life looking for love. And sometimes I looked in the wrong places. So with those 3 values that are missing, we find the exact thing that was really missing for you in one sentence. So you're a student and teacher of something. And then we turn it into a positive belief system. We anchor it in the subconscious mind. And from that moment on, that person is living their life purpose.
Beautiful.
It's an easy, one session. That's all it takes to help you find your life purpose. And there are people who pass, who die, who again don't even know why they're here or what their purpose is. And so it's almost like a wasted life. So for me, because I was missing self-love, missing recognition, missing compassion, and so on, so I developed the Science of Mind Kinetics coaching system to help myself first. I had to heal my own wounds, right? From my childhood, from my 20s and 30s and so on. And then before I knew it, people were knocking on my door saying, "Wow, I've really seen noticed a change in you and in some of your friends who have come to see you. Can you do the same for me? And that's how my life coaching and executive coaching and training business took off.
Beautiful. And your book, I Heal Me, is that correct? Is that what it's
Yeah.
called?
Yeah.
I Heal Me.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about your book.
Well, the book it's got a number of objectives, but because I've got clients in 50 plus countries, it came to my attention that sometimes people don't have the money to hire a coach. Although I've been known to give my coaching away for free if people really want it. And we've trained many coaches around the world who will also do the same, just as a kind thing. However, if someone doesn't have any money at all, I thought, well, how can they heal themselves? Because mind kinetics is such a very fast healing process. Every single session, you go to a different stage of enlightenment, right? You have clarity on where you are, who you are, and what you want to do with your life, no matter how tragic the situation. And maybe I'll get a chance to read some testimonials from the book. But the idea, firstly, was for people to have some tools that they could use to heal themselves. So the book, I'll just show the cover right here, and it's got a workbook that goes with it. There are 23 powerful, award-winning self-coaching healing tools in the book. So people could literally go through the book and make great headway on whatever challenge they're having in their life. Maybe they're having a relationship issue with their partner, or maybe the children are having trouble learning at school because they have ADD or ADHD or whatever, right? Or maybe a sister has become a drug addict, or maybe the reader is having financial troubles, or maybe they're having difficulty connecting to God. We don't know. People have so many issues and goals, unfulfilled goals. So my objective for the book was, first and foremost, to give people tools for, what does the book cost? $13 or something on Amazon. It'll change their life. They will, if they've been sexually abused, or, if their marriage failed, or, people hold on to that pain. And on Amazon, we say all suffering can be healed. All suffering can be healed. Erase your pain, whatever it is, because inside of you is the power to heal yourself. So that's number one reason. And I hope that it's actually now a number one Amazon bestseller in 3 categories. And it happened so quickly: abuse, depression, and I forget the third one. I think it was spiritual self-help or something. And so that's number one. And then the second objective was that people attract all this negativity to them because, let's be honest, they're eating the wrong things. We've read studies about people who will get a heart transplant, and all of a sudden the person getting the transplant starts to feel all these angry feelings and all these different emotions, and they go, oh, where's that coming from? Well, it's been proven that those feelings came from the donor. The heart is holding all those emotions of the donor. Like, that's really wild, isn't it? Well, it's the same with animals. Animals do not want to be killed for food or for anything else, for their fur or their skin or whatever. No. And so when we eat animals, we are eating their fear. And so that in itself can cause our world to go kafooey. We have all kinds of challenges because that negative energy is overriding all the positive in our beings. A lot of people don't know that. So, so that was another reason, was to encourage people to go to a whole plant-based vegan diet. You know, it's just be pure, be as pure as you can in your body, which will help your mind be more pure. And so the whole mind, body, spirit thing is then balanced and in greater alignment. And then, you know what, Tammy, miracles start to happen. It's quite something.
Well, the spiritual alignment is so necessary and it's really difficult. So, what I hear you saying is that your coaching does contribute to creating a healthier and more compassionate world, because
Yeah.
it sounds like you believe veganism is essential for compassionate service. So, your service approach would be the approach to your work is compassion,
Yeah,
and compassion
total.
to self must include veganism.
Well, my Ayurvedic doctor will only treat you if you are a vegetarian or a vegan, preferably vegan. But I find in my practice that people, most of the people who come to me are meat eaters. They start that way, and then they start to awaken. They're getting more and more clear on their purpose, and that there are so many beautiful plants and fruits and grains and vegetables that we do not need to eat that meat. And in fact, it's bad for us from the perspective of, you know, we're killing another sentient being for no reason at all. And then there's a third objective to the book, which is kind of interesting. And it's that alignment with the spiritual part of us, whatever you want to call it, whether it's some people call it the universe or higher power or God self or master or guru within, you know, whatever you want to call it. And I want to may I read a testimonial from the book?
Of course.
Okay, because it's a cool story. And this young man was on our podcast last week. He's from Canada, and when he was 4 years old, he started to hear voices. He had his first episodes of psychosis at the age of 4. Can you imagine? And he's hearing voices, and he's wondering, who are these voices? Should I be listening to them, or, you know, what is going on? And he didn't know. So he started asking for professional help when he was a young teenager. So it's a page and a half quote. I'm just taking a couple paragraphs. He said, as I matured, I became wise enough to realize something isn't quite right inside my head. The professional help I sought included doctors, psychiatrists, and therapists. I still have the utmost respect for these people because they helped me somewhat, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. No matter what they did or what drugs they gave me, it didn't help with the feeling of being broken on the inside. So this is vital. With Mind Kinetics, we heal the heart, we heal the mind. Well, they heal themselves. The people heal themselves. We just have them run through the tools we've developed to help them get there. He continues, eventually I found Betska, the guru coach, who was able to give me the help I needed. We worked for almost 5 years off and on. I think there was a year and a half or where we didn't do any work. As I sought help with other methods, Betska helped me the most. So he's had all these doctors, psychiatrists, and therapists, and so Betska helped me the most as I worked through my issues and repaired the damage that had been done from living with schizophrenic affective disorder. So we know schizophrenia is one of the most difficult things for any professional to help someone with, but usually they don't have much support because it's drugs. They're giving them the drugs. So, but one of the things I wanted to read about was one of the chapters in the book, and also sprinkled throughout, are passages from fully enlightened spiritual masters and fairly enlightened teachers. You know, we've had many of them over the centuries, superb teachers. And I took a lot of time to select the verses that I felt would be appropriate for a global audience. So in there, we've got quotes from Mohammed, may peace be upon him, from the Jain gurus to the Sikh gurus to Master Ching Hai, who's my teacher, all around Lao Tzu, from the ancient, from Buddhism and Hinduism. I mean, it's a very inclusive book, because I knew from the very beginning, around 1997, when I started this journey, that the tools that we developed were universal. Yeah. So they could be used by anyone. Yeah. So this young man goes, the spiritual verses had a great impact on me. It made me feel connected to my higher power. It made me feel I was in touch with something ethereal. So you never know what people are going to get out of a book. Some people love the tools, right? These healing tools, the 23 healing tools. Other people love the journeys, the stories. I tell them my journey of healing. My co-author, Katie Tran, she's a Vietnamese refugee. You can imagine what her story is like. She had to leave her country at the age of 5, and they were running away from the communists. Like, oh my God, it's a phenomenal story. So, personal journeys that touch the heart, and then we've got wisdom from all different types of people. And one of the things that people love about I Heal Me is that it's filled with artwork I invited people from around the world to submit their artwork for inclusion in the book. And so we've got beautiful artwork from Romania, from Hungary, from India, from the United States, Canada. They're all over the place, and beautiful art pieces. So there's the book in a nutshell. It took a long time to explain it, but there you go.
Beautiful. Thank you. I changed locations really quickly because I realized my computer needed to be plugged in. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
What practices do you do daily for high vibrational living? I just always believe that what we emit, the energy that we share just by showing up. What do you do?
I do lots of things. So we'll start with a vegan diet, because if we eat meat, the meat energy is so dense it pulls us down. So
and dairy and eggs.
What's that?
And dairy and eggs.
Excuse me, and honey and everything else like that. So sorry. So vegan diet is number one. And I practice mind kinetics, of course, because and your viewers may really enjoy going to www.thebrainwalk.com. It's a free site that our company gives to people, where they can go in and we call pull an Einstein. In less than 15 minutes, they will get a solution from their higher power to a challenge that they have in their lives. It's incredible. It's incredible. Yeah. People should please go and try it. So that's
called the Brain Walk.
Thebrainwalk.com. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
And
you go ahead and have some water there.
I need it.
Yes, you do.
Thank you. And the third thing that I do, is extensive meditation. This morning I got up at 2:30 and I meditated till 6:30. And typically I'll do 2.5 to 3 hours a day. And it's the Kuan Yin method of meditation, which means that you're doing at least an hour and a half of light. So you're seeing the light through your wisdom eye, and it's pulling you forward. And then you do an hour of inner sound, which means you're hearing the sound of the universe inside you. So it's not outside bells or wind, no, inside you. And by doing the sound meditation, you're cleaning the karma you have accumulated during the day.
Mm.
Another thing I do is I love to be outside. So we, again, we live so close to the forest here, and I love to go for walks in the forest. There's a beautiful stream. I'll sit by the stream and just enjoy all the trees and the sound of the trickling water. And I'm a gardener. I love to go out and garden. In fact, here it is, January the 16th on Vancouver Island. And we could literally go out today and do some gardening because it's mild here, right? We don't have snow. We don't have cold Arctic air right now. So yeah, I've been known. Actually, last weekend I was out gardening already.
Oh, beautiful.
So those are some of the things that I do to keep and I don't drink alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
I don't take pharmaceutical drugs. And my Ayurvedic doctor tells me that I eat like a perfect diet, in his opinion. So that's good. That's good news. He's telling me that.
It's beautiful. So what would a perfect diet look like for you?
For me, whole plant-based diet. So no processed foods. I find that if I try and eat processed foods like burgers from the store, like packaged burgers, my
Veggie
body,
burgers?
yeah, definitely veggie burgers. My body just doesn't like it. No, can't eat that. So I make my own burgers. So I'll make them out of quinoa and broccoli and rice and different herbs and spices. Kitchery is, let me back up for a minute and just kind of explain overall before I get into some specifics. So I try not to have food, before 11 in the morning. This morning I was up to teach at 7:30, so to run a 2-hour class. So I had to eat immediately afterwards. I was using so much energy. But a whole plant-based diet and very little coffee and tea, definitely no alcohol, no pharmaceuticals, and fresh as I can make it, and no sugar. That is hard. Eating no sugar because, as a Ukrainian growing up on the prairies of Canada, I'd come home from school or whatever, my mother would have these cakes that are this tall, chiffon cakes, and a lot of the Ukrainian foods were just amazing. And so the body got used to sugar, but as I got older, the body was saying, nah, no sugar. So, I do get my sweets. I will take dates and figs and walnuts or pecans, and I'll toast some coconut and 1 cup of each, grind them up in the food processor and make little balls.
Beautiful.
So,
Sounds
healthy. Yeah, very simple. And I'm a busy gal, like I work more than full time. So I try to keep our meals as simple as possible. I love Indian food. For a party recently, and most of the people there were meat eaters. And the dish I made was the star of the evening. I made a veggie korma. Just with mung bean, lentils, and vegetables, and the spices. You love India, right? So the spices are just incredible, and our digestion loves the fennel and the cumin and coriander, right? All those wonderful spices. So, but we have an air fryer, so I'll make French fries in there. But there's very little oil. You only put a tablespoon of oil instead of the way we used to do it, where you dunk all the potatoes in a vat of oil, you know. Yeah, and tonight we're having potatoes and sauerkraut. The sauerkraut is so good for us, and I try not to heat it up too much so that the enzymes are still in there. And of course, veggie milks, you know, soy milk or oat milk, cashew milk.
Beautiful. And they're so easy to make. You know, you just soak your nuts overnight and blend them with some water. I usually do 1 cup of nuts to 3 cups of water soaked after they're soaked, or seeds. People that are allergic to nuts, they can have seed milk, just so people know that, and blended it in a high-speed blender and then put it through a nut bag. And you can use that pulp to make some of those beautiful balls you were talking about. I love to make food from scratch.
Boy, you know what? I've got one of those seed bags. Thank you for inspiring me. Because this weekend I'm gonna do that. And how long does it last without preservatives in the fridge?
Oh, you'll have it gone before it, but easily 5 days, 6 days.
Okay.
The jar, mason jars are my friends. When I teach food classes, we get a bunch of 500 milliliter and 1 liter jars, and our milks go in there, our salads to go. We make a cabbage salad to go with just a little bit of apple cider vinegar or lemon, which are both preservatives. And yeah, you just store them in your jar. So, you know, the way that we eat is the ultimate fast food. An organic apple with a little bit of raw tahini on there.
Yeah.
You know, that's the ultimate fast food. So people that say they don't have time, they forget that raw and pure food in its form, like a few dates and a few walnuts or some hemp hearts, are the ultimate fast food. So yeah.
And you know, I forgot to mention also, well, being a gardener, I have a veggie garden. I have two places for veggies, and then we have raspberries and blueberries and strawberries and so on. Not big patches, but enough for the two of us, you know. But my treat for the day, and I could still go out there today, even in January on Vancouver Island, and pick a carrot.
Beautiful.
Or pick a beet, and it never makes it to the house. And we've got kale trees that are, you know, up to my waist. They're so big, and I keep trimming them, and they keep sprouting more, you know. And so making those raw smoothies are fabulous as well.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. You know, we're both foodies. We love to improvise, and I love to tell people that live in the colder parts of Canada that you can always have a jar of sprouts. I have some fresh sprouted mung beans in the fridge. They only took 2 days to sprout, and there are lots of options for places you can buy your food. And you know, most people are on a pretty tight budget now, and buying our beans and our rice and not buying stuff from cans actually saves us a lot of money. So thank you.
And that nutrition, I've got some broccoli sprouts going right now, but I didn't have a lot of luck with them. That they were congealing, but my hairdresser, who is a vegan, was telling me how to do it in a good way. So I'm excited because this morning I saw a few little sprouts happening. So I don't know, maybe 2 days. Do you know how long broccoli sprouts take?
All the time seeds take much longer, whereas the mung beans and the lentils, you can have a decent sprout within a couple days. So you soak them overnight, and then you start you can put them in a jar, rinse them twice a day, put them at about a 45-degree angle. I teach people in my food classes, instead of getting the sprouting lid, just buy some good quality screen, cut pieces, and then put the top of the jar lid on, and then you're screwing on your screen, and you can have 4 or 5 jars. So you just rinse them twice a day, put them on a 45-degree angle in a drain tray, and you can have many seeds going at once. But all the smaller seeds could take up to 6 days.
Oh, okay, good. Now,
quite a bit longer than the bigger ones.
Right. My body loves yellow split mung beans.
Lovely.
Do you know, can I sprout the split mung beans or not? Because they've been cut, right?
I'm not sure I don't think they will sprout if they're split.
Yeah.
But the best place for mung beans is Mum's Sprout. So it's sprouting.com.
Yeah.
Or a local, they're in Saskatchewan, just one province east. So if we're in Canada, if our listeners are are listening from Canada, and they'll ship to you. And they're because their seeds are all for sprouting, they are just so amazing, and it's an organic family company. So yeah, thank you.
I have three packages from that company in my cupboard. So I will thank you for that inspiration as well. I'll go and see, because I'd love to be able to sprout the yellow mung beans. The green ones my body has trouble digesting at this moment. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's good to pay attention.
Yes, it is.
Well, sprout it all out, as I like to say. I would just like to ask you one final question and see where this takes us for our last bit of time together. But for now, because I know we're going to have lots more time together. But I would like to know, we all have an idea. One of the practices I did when I was studying with a Peruvian shaman is we planned our funeral. We planned what it would be like, what people would say about us, whether we were living a life in alignment, and when we died, we could die calm and at peace. And I've done this a few times through my life and imagined myself passing, and could I pass with a clear conscience? And I can actually say I can. I feel like I haven't let a lot of moss grow under my feet, but I felt a lot of moss grow under my feet. So what legacy do you hope to leave through your work? And what advice would you give to someone starting their self-discovery journey so that they can leave feeling that they're actually living, like you said, in alignment, and not for any, purpose to be overseen or any of that, just that we know in our hearts that we're in complete alignment with what, as my teacher would say, living our spark of divine.
Right on. So with mind kinetics, I feel I have already created my legacy. We've taught, I don't know, 1,000 more coaches around the world, plus leaders around the world to use this science to go inside themselves, to find their real selves, and to grow on all different types of levels. Maybe one of the things I would still like to do is, we know from Dr. Christian Northrup that women who don't deal with their childhood issues have a more difficult menopause. So, and men, but she was talking about women in particular in her book. So those viewers who are feeling like if they're having a rough time with their emotions, it could be because they need to deal with those feelings, the triggers. They need to look at the patterns that are buried in their subconscious mind. And that's the beauty of mind kinetics, why we've won many awards for it. People will come to our school not just to learn how to coach others, but to heal themselves. What's been going on in my life. Maybe they were abused as a child, or maybe in the corporate world, they, maybe they were like me, they got passed over for jobs because men were more talented, so to speak, etc. And so anybody in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, who are still feeling remorseful, or who know that they've got some issues inside of themselves that could be healed, then start now. Pick up I Heal Me and read it, do the exercises, and then you can call me if you need to. And more than welcome that. Because if we are still blocked in our subconscious mind about who we are, and we've got all these negative thoughts about ourselves and others, it's an uncomfortable life. It's not a joyful, peaceful life. I can imagine that every single human being on this planet would love to live in peace and harmony with all other humans and animals and trees and birds and so on. I mean, we don't want war. We don't want all this killing. We don't want, gun running and drugs and, we don't need all that. So as adults, mature adults, we can contribute a lot more to the world if we get rid of all these subconscious negative beliefs that we don't even know exist. But they are causing us pain at some level. They're causing us to not move forward, including with vegans. There are many vegans who just stay stuck. They don't want to do anything. And the reason for that is because their subconscious is saying, oh, I'm not worth anything. I don't have anything to contribute, right? Or, my mom told me I was a black sheep, and so I am a black sheep. You know what I'm saying? Those negative beliefs, and believe me, I haven't written a book. I've written many books, but I haven't written a book. But my file on just me alone on healing myself is that thick. Maybe not that quick. Yeah, it's probably that thick. Or other people helping me to heal myself. And I tell you, the ones that are hidden inside the heart are the ones that cause us the most pain. So I really, really encourage people to find someone to help them to identify what's hidden in that subconscious that is sabotaging your future, and then get rid of them. And we have a whole raft of I Heal Me coaches ready and waiting if anybody would like to receive some private sessions. So that's the legacy part. And then your second question was about people starting their own business. Is that what it was?
No, where to start in the journey? So I think you've answered that. You said, get the book, start doing the tools, use the toolbox in there, all the tools, and then contact you if they need to.
Yeah.
And Betska's contact will be at the bottom of this podcast to reach her. And I would love to have a session. So that's something I'll reach out for in the future.
Yeah, they're powerful.
Thank you.
Even our junior coaches do a fabulous job. It's because the magic is in the tools. With over 80 tools. I mean, we can take someone into their subconscious mind and in less than 5 seconds find the root cause age of a debilitating pattern that they've been living their whole life. So maybe they've had multiple partners, or maybe they're not looking after their body well enough, or maybe they're not connecting to God on a daily basis. There's so much stuff that could be going on for them. And why sit and suffer with that? Nobody needs to suffer. And as I said earlier, all suffering can be healed in one way or another. And I know lots and lots of people who have developed lots and lots of modalities on the planet, and they say theirs is the best. I'm not going to say ours is the best. I do know that it gets results. We measure our clients' results after 10 sessions. We call it return on investment. And, I wish every professional would do that. We want you to prove to yourself that you've made progress. And it's always astonishing because we measure not just the conscious level results, what you think has happened to you, but the subconscious. And the subconscious is words like, wow, my faith in myself at the beginning of these mind kinetic sessions was 4. Now I'm at an 8.
Beautiful.
Or self-love, or there's a whole list, I think 25 different belief systems that we check in the subconscious mind. So it is a powerful process. And honestly, I haven't found another process like it in the world. And as I said, I've got clients in 50 plus countries. Our students come and say they've tried this, they've tried that, but it was only mind kinetics that really moved them permanently. So we guarantee permanent positive change.
Beautiful, Betska. That's a pretty big guarantee. So
Yeah.
what we're needing right now and to create our vegan world by the end of 2026 is the fast track to clearing, getting ourselves cleared from our trauma and our grief. I call it
Yeah,
accumulated grief that keeps us from doing what we're here to do so
yeah,
that we can do that. So thank you very much for being here today. And please reach out if you're needing the fast track to be able to clear so we can do what we're here to do. Thank you, Beth.
awesome. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Namaste, vegan.
Namaste. Yeah, namaste, vegan.